Good morning. Many thanks for joining us for this Friday edition of our Sports Today on ABS TV. Thanks a lot for joining us. This is where we dissect sports and look at what's happened across the week from Monday down to Thursday, and we'll also be looking at the events for Friday and the weekend as well. My name is Ike Nwokedi. Good to have you on the show once again. On the morning edition of our Sports Today, we'll be checking out what's happening at the grassroots level. We will be looking at the sport called rowing. It's not quite a popular sport, but a whole lot of persons out there are beginning to get in tune with this sport called rowing. Also on the show, we'll tell you about a story of Team Bayelsa at the National Sports Festival. We'll also be telling you about Morocco and how they are faring at the ongoing FIFA World Cup. The latest concerning that team out there, the team in Africa, the first African team to make it to the semi-finals of the FIFA World Cup. We'll also be talking about Victor Osimhen. Is in the news. There's an ex-Italian international eulogizing Victor Osimhen. We'll also be talking about basketball. We'll tell you about Formula One, how Saudi Arabia is coming into the picture in Formula One, and then we'll talk about the FIFA World Cup, the finals coming up, and lots more on the sports show. Well, let's begin with our first story on the show. Our first story is about the Anambra State Sports Development Commission. They have a new chairman in the person of Patrick Estate Onyedum. That man embarked on a tour of two sports facilities. That one is proposed and the other is already existing, and we are talking about Ekulobia Township Stadium. The chairman, ANSSDC Patrick Onyedum, has expressed disappointment over the state of the Ekulobia Township Stadium and proposed Ogidi Stadium Complex. Onyedum on Tuesday, 13th December 2022, embarked on a tour of the sports facilities in company of ranking members of staff of the commission. And during the visit to Ekulobia Township Stadium, which for years has served as the only sporting complex in Agwata LGA, the playing surface was mainly sandy with scattered grasses around the dimension. There was abandoned mini housing units which Hitato served as tickets point and security posts in the complex. Also, the only office block assigned to sports officers is uninhabitable and in a state of disrepair, with most sporting equipment and facilities are stolen when some indigents forcefully took over the initial 3 office blocks earmarked for the sports office. And the proposed Ogidi Stadium Complex can no longer be regarded as a place earmarked for construction of sporting infrastructure, as the site for many years now has been serving as a motor park for trailers, pits for petrol tankers and heavy-duty trucks, earth-moving machines and mechanic workshop for vehicles of all sorts that we hear. Onyedum disclosed that Ekulobia Township Stadium is of interest to the government, as the facility was created to serve Agwata local government and the entire Anambra South senatorial zone. And the commission boards opined that adequate attention will be given to the facility to put it in good shape for hosting of our intra and interstate sporting events. And the stadium in Agwata is already functional, Onyedum stated, and a fence which for many years has served as the only sporting complex within the zone. What is lacking now is to erect a spectator stand that cultivate grasses on areas that are sandy to restore the lush greener surface of the pitch, which will aid a sporting event like football and other team events. We will also work on putting a standard pattern tracker, he said, for athletics events, which also we will also be working on. And the existing mini house will also be given the necessary attention, while the portion of the fence which is about to collapse will be reinforced. Those were the comments of the chairman, Anambra State Sports Development Commission. He also said that there will be work on points earmarked for team sports such as volleyball and handball. On the proposed site for the Ogidi Township Stadium, the Sports Commission chairman lamented its present state, describing it as an eyesore and not fit to be regarded as a site for sporting complex. The proposed Ogidi Township Stadium is an eyesore, and there are a lot of encroachments on the side. There is no perimeter fencing, and the place can no longer be described as a proposed sporting complex but a mechanic workshop, he stated. I would let Mr. Governor know our findings. From there, we will know the next step, as this is a government property. The chairman, Anambra State Sports Development Commission, Patrick Estate Onyedum, stated. Onyedum disclosed that the government was or rather wants to establish a three functional and well-equipped sports centers in three senatorial zones of the state. One at Otuocha for Anambra North, the site in Ekwulobia for Anambra South, and they proposed the Ogidi Township Stadium to represent the Anambra Central senatorial zone. So that was the story about the tour of the facilities for sports in Anambra State. He started with the Chubai Basu Stadium about 3 weeks ago, and now he has gone on to the Ekwulobia Township Stadium, which should serve as one of the sites for sports in Anambra State. That's the chairman Anambra State Sports Development Commission. Went there with members of the staff of the commission, and it was a trip embarked on Tuesday, and those are the findings that we are relating to you. So Ekwulobia Township Stadium will be having a facelift. In though this time there will be lush green grass there, and we're expecting to have a spectator stands, a starting track, and all have you in due course. So we'll be following up on the work there, and I will keep you posted as regards the development and concerning the state of those sporting facilities out there in those parts of the state. Moving away from that, let's talk about the National Sports Festival, which came to an end, and that was last weekend. Let's tell you that Governor of Bayelsa State and Senator Doye Diri has congratulated the state's contingent at the 21st edition of the National Sports Festival held in Asaba, the capital of Delta State. It may interest you to know that Bayelsa, for the first time in the festival history, placed a second behind the hosts and winners at Delta State, and garnering a total of 109 gold, 100 silver, and 84 bronze medals. And Diri, in a congratulatory message issued by his chief press secretary, Daniel Labra, said the government and the people of Bayelsa were exceedingly proud of the spectacular performance of the state's athletes at the festival. He said Bayelsa's best performance in previous festivals was fourth place, and that was in 2006 when the government was, or rather when the governor was the commissioner for sports, while it came third at the Edo 2020 held last year in Benin City. So some form of eulogies are coming through from His Excellency Senator Doye Diri, the executive governor of Bayelsa State, praising Bayelsa State for their exploit and they just concluded National Sports Festival. And of course, he equally eulogized the Commissioner for Youth and Sports in that state for the job well done in that one. You know, the Commissioner for Youth and Sports in that state, it happens to be also the president of the Nigeria Wrestling and Federation. So that's the story from Bayelsa out there, and Bayelsa are doing the new food. They will be preparing for Ogun 2024, and let's see if there will be time for them to eclipse the record of Delta State, and maybe you sub them on the top of the charts where you talk about a National Sports Festival in the country. A National Sports Festival, you know, is Nigeria's version of the Olympics, and it just ended in Delta State. It was November 28th to December 10th, and Team Anambra featured in 20 first sporting event out there at National Sports Festival. Went with 245 member delegation, 204 athletes, 249 member delegation, I should say, and 204 athletes and 45 officials were there at the National Sports Festival. We finished the 14th on and the lock in the National Sports Festival with 6 gold, 9 silver, and 24 bronze medals. I will just surpassed the record we created in Edo. In Edo, that was last year. We had 6 gold, 9 silver, and 22 bronze medals. So that's how it went down at the National Sports Festival. And now coming up to the last news on the National Sports Festival, let's talk about one sport that is not quite popular. Yes, you sincerely had to enter the boat, although without a life jacket, while I know it was quite dangerous, but that's part of what we do to cover the games out there. And this time it was about rowing, canoeing, and sailing. Now, when you talk about Nigerian Rowing, Canoeing, and Sailing Federation, yes, so let's tell you that Rear Admiral Festus Apobeni, retired, who happens to be the president of Nigeria Rowing Canoeing and Sailing Federation has commended the Delta State government for hosting a successful 21st edition of the National Sports Festival Packed at Delta 2022 and putting in place good facilities for the festival. And the former Minister of Transport made the remarks during an interview with sports writers at the venue of a rowing and canoe event of the just concluded 21st NSF held at Asaba Delta State from the 28th of November to the 10th of December 2022. Paul Benny stated that his dream is to ensure that rowing, canoe, and sailing events stay in the National Sports Festival, not as an option, but as a regular in the biggest sporting program in the land. He said that his federation are making frantic effort to ensure that it becomes a compulsory sport, not just at the festival, but in other sports program in the nation. He revealed that the sport is a gold mine that has 54 gold medals attached to it as Nigeria's version of the Olympics. The sport has got lots of prospects. As you can see, a total of 54 gold medals that was competed for at the National Sports Festival, whereas other sports like football, handball has just one gold medal attached to it. At the Olympics, we saw how Michael Phelps won 7 gold medals, making a huge mark. I'm really delighted rowing and canoeing was a part of this year's sporting event, sports festival. Before now, it was not known and our activities were a bit silent. I was disappointed that at the National Sports Festival held in Edo State in 2021, we made frantic effort for the event to feature to no avail. However, we are making a huge inroads as I have proposed that the sports in Jos and other places we have body of water such as Jabi Lake in Abuja, said Paul Benny. Paul Benny revealed that although the sports is an expensive one, the federation wants to collaborate with FM known as Board Magnifa to produce rowing boats which will further amplify efforts geared towards moving the sports to the next level. He highlighted achievements in the areas of human capital development which saw 2 Nigerians featuring at London 2012 Olympics and Rio 2016 Olympics with one representing Great the United Kingdom and the other Nigeria. And the retired military officer also stated that Ayo Bello and Esther Toko are shining lights. Yes, we showed you the picture of Esther Toko out there and Ayo Bello. They are the shining lights of the sport in Nigeria, according to Paul Benny, and they give the nation a name at the global stage. And Paul Benny stated that the federation are working towards enhancing the visibility of the 2-star athletes while working on developing more at the grassroots level. He commended the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports for the support while calling on corporate organizations and public-spirited individuals to lend support towards the growth of the sports in Nigeria. And we are talking about canoeing, rowing, and sailing. And that's we caught up with the president of that association, talking about Rear Admiral Festus Pobeni, retired. He used to be the former minister of transport. So that's the way the sports is right now concerning rowing and canoeing. I will continue to follow up on development as regards canoeing, rowing, and sailing federation. I hear there is an event coming up in the month of next month, to be precise, in the new year, January, and it will be somewhere in Bayelsa, according to reports coming through. Also, that's the report we got from the Secretary General of the Federation, talking about Bumi Oloede, who told us that there will be an event there for rowing come next year. So we wish them all the very best as they seek to take the sports to the next level in the country. And now let's talk football. In football, Nigerian star striker Kelechi Iheanacho revealed that he had reservations over signing for Manchester City. The left-footed striker was one of the best leagues, was won and played in the best leagues in world football when he joined Citizens from Nigeria-based Taye Academy, and that was in January 2015. Iheanacho had played a significant role at the 2013 FIFA Under-17 World Cup, where he won the Golden Ball Award for player of the tournament, with Nigeria clinching the title. Due to lack of a game time at Manchester, the two-time CAF most promising player was sold to Leicester City, and that was in August 2017, having won the Football League Cup with the Citizens, where he netted 21 goals from 64 competitive games. And Iheanacho, 26 years of age, has scored 48 goals and from 183 competitive matches, and so far 4 Leicester City we hear. And moving on from that, let's talk about another Nigerian. This time around, let's talk about Victor Osimhen, a legendary Italian striker. Talking about Filippo Inzaghi believes that Victor Osimhen is the best beyond Karim Benzema and Olivier Giroud. Do you believe that? It's up to you. And the Nigerian international has established himself as one of the best strikers in the Italian Serie A, with his exploits for Napoli. Inzaghi, who achieved a legendary status at AC Milan and Juventus FC as a lethal striker, opined that Osimhen's qualities are second to none and that he is better than Ballon d'Or winner Benzema of Real Madrid and Olivier Giroud, who plays for AC Milan. Victor Osimhen has netted 10 goals from 14 matches across all competitions for Napoli this time, while providing 2 assists in the process. And the 23-year-old is also placed at the top of the 2023 African qualifiers, scoring charter with 5 goals for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. We'll move on from that. Let's talk about the World Cup. This time around, let's go to Morocco. The team, the first African team to get to the semi-finals of a FIFA World Cup. Morocco's Football Federation, FMRF, are talking this morning, and they have protested to FIFA about the refereeing during Wednesday's World Cup semi-final defeat by champions France in Qatar. The FMRF is unhappy that Mexican referee Cesar Ramos failed to award a penalty in the first half to the North Africans, who when Theo Hernandez made contact with Sofiane Boufal in the area instead of awarding a spot kick, which several neutrals felt was appropriate for that one. Ramos instead booked winger Boufal for a foul, and the Moroccans were almost unhappy at the hauling down of a substitute Selim Amala as he awaited the delivery of a set piece. Also failed to prompt another look from officials, and the first African and Arab team to contest a World Cup semi-finals. Morocco lost 2-0 after an early goal from left back Hernandez was followed by a late strike from substitute talking about Moane Randall Kolo in that match. And know that Morocco will be taking on Croatia tomorrow in the 3rd and 4th place playoff. That match is expected to come up by 4 p.m. Nigerian time. So kudos to Morocco for getting that far. They were very close to getting to the finals, and they would have made another history. But Morocco, they should cheer up. That's football. Getting to the semi-finals, that's some record. They need to keep the team and prepare for the next Soccer Mundial. That's in 4 years time. Let's talk about basketball. The Basketball African League, the BAL, will return in 2023 with the same 12-team format used this year. We hear with 2 conferences are played in Senegal and Egypt before playoff finals in the month. Playoff finals are coming up in Rwanda rather, and the regular season will again be divided between 2 conferences scheduled before and after the Islamic holy month of Ramadan. And the Sahara Conference will be played from 11 to 21 March in Dakar, with a now conference held in Cairo between 26th of April and 6th of May. And the 4 best teams from each of the 2 16 groups will meet in the Rwandan capital Kigali for the knockout phase, coming up from the 21st to the 27th of May. Moving away from that quickly, let's talk about Formula 1. Something new is coming to Formula 1. Saudi Arabia has joined the fray, and Saudi Arabia looks set to host the opening race of the 2024 Formula 1 in a change from the previous plans for it to be held in Australia. The news emerged in a statement from the Victorian state government announcing a 2-year contract extension for the Australian Grand Prix until 2037. The statement said Melbourne's Albert Park track would host the opening race at least 4 times during the contract term, but Saudi Arabia will do so, and that's coming up in 2024 out of respect for Ramadan. And we'll move away from it right now. Let's talk about another sport, and let's tell you that in the aftermath of the Ukraine-Russian war, or seems to be subsiding right now, a group of Ukrainian athletes have returned to Cardiff Metropolitan University as they set their sights on new goal of representing their country at the Olympics. Displaced by the war in the homeland, Ukraine 4x100 meters men's relating, we are given a training base as well as accommodation, food and sports science support by Cardiff Met as they prepared for for the European Championship in the month of August. Now, alongside additional individual male and female sprinters for Ukraine, they are back in Wales with the long-term aim of racing at next Olympics that's coming up in Paris in 2024. You're watching Sports Today on ABS TV. That's the show this Friday. We'll take a very short break, and when we come back on the show, we'll tell you about the upcoming finals of a grassroots football league that has been on, and the finals is coming up this time around. It is coming up on Saturday, and we are talking about the Oka North Football Championship, and we'll be having the right person to tell us more about that competition here on Sports Today on ABS TV after this short time out. Join us again.
Great news for Anambra Broadcasting Service ABS audience. You can now watch ABS television through any of these ways.
Buy a terrestrial antenna and connect to your television. Search ABS Channel 24 Oka or ABS Channel 27 Onitsha. Install StarTimes cable decoder and search ABS Channel 113. Install Metro Digital cable decoder and search ABS Channel 29.
Watch ABS TV on your smart TV or smartphone by downloading Anambra Broadcasting Service app on Google Play Store. Also watch via ABS Facebook page at ABS Radio Television and ABS YouTube page at ABS Television Oka.
ABS TV is now also on satellite. You can watch us from anywhere in Nigeria and other African countries. Simply install our TV decoder brand and tune to channel 315, or install any free-to-air satellite decoder and search for ABS TV.
Whichever option you choose, stay abreast of breaking news, documentaries, children's shows, talk shows, comedy, sports, movies, and lots more on your darling TV station.
For adverts and program sponsorship, contact 0803-388-8526 or 0806-883-9902. ABS, Heartbeat of the East.
We are back for the second half of the show, Sports Today on ABS TV. Thanks a lot for joining us once again. In the first half, I will told you about Anambra Sports in Anambra State, the story of the Anambra State Sports Development Commission. Patrick Estate Onyedum has started on a good way. He went on a tour of the sports facilities in the state, and he had gone to Otuocha Township Stadium. He went to Chuba Ikpeazu Stadium, and on Tuesday there was a tour of the proposed Ogidi Stadium and Ekulobia Township Stadium, and he has promised that Ekulobia Township Stadium will be given a facelift. There will be planting of cultivation of grasses on the areas that are sandy. We'll also be having a tartan track, a spectator pavilion, and all that to give the place a facelift. For Ogidi, proposed Ogidi Township Stadium, that's a story for another day anyways, but let's see as he goes. But the good thing is that he has started on a good footing, and we wish him all the very best in his adventure trying to take sports to the next level in Anambra State. And we equally told you about the sports rowing in Nigeria, and then we talked about Morocco. We also talked about Senator Doyediri, the executive governor of Bayelsa State, congratulating Bayelsa United for their exploits. And we told you about basketball and Formula One, what's going to happen next season. Well, let's bring it back home. Let's talk about grassroots sports. Let's put emphasis on football. And sometime November 12th, 2022, we saw the commencement of the inaugural edition of the Okanota local football Okanota Football Championship. I'm meant to say it is an initiative and a brainchild of the Okanota Local Football Council under the leadership of our comrade Raphael Okafor. He is in the house with me this morning to talk about the finals. Yes, we've come to almost a crescendo. He is here to talk about the finals of the Okanota Football Championship. Joining me once again is our comrade Raphael Okafor, the chairman of Okanota Local Football Council. Good morning. Good to have you on the show.
Good morning.
On a very short notice. Well, I have to say, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
For starting this and now getting it to where we are. How would you describe the league from November 12th down to this very moment?
It has been a huge success. You know, when we started nurturing the program, it was not easy. It seems as if we are not going to execute it. But God being on our side, the thing has been moving excellently, very wonderfully. Starting from the first day till this time around, the league has been a wonderful one in Okanota and around Anambra State.
Now I have to ask you this, for the fact that you've started this league, would you say the essence for commencing the Okanota Football Championship was successful and it was achieved?
Yeah, the aim has been achieved. Even though that we are taking the finals tomorrow, but when you look at the entire atmosphere, you can believe with me that the aim has been achieved. So it was a good kind of a huge success. Yes. 9
clubs featured in the maiden edition of the Okanota Football Championship. The players there, I suppose for each team, they registered a minimum of 18 players. So we're talking about roughly about 180 players featuring in the maiden edition of the Okanota Football Championship. Were you impressed with their performance? Can you say these players have got what it takes to play in the second tier of Nigeria Club Football, NNL, Nigeria Professional Football League, NPFL? anticipation of Saturday, big Saturday in quotes. What do we anticipate?
Yeah, it's going to be a wonderful encounter, wonderful experience. Because the main thing is tomorrow. Who is going to lift up the trophy to become the first or cannot champions ever? So it's going to be a kind of an exciting moment.
It's going to be
very, very, very wonderful. A story that will not stop ringing in the mouth of people who will come around, a kind of people that will view the tournament tomorrow.
I want to ask you this. What are the prize monies involved? I hear first, second, and third. Are there prize monies involved there and also other individual awards?
By the special grace of God, the winners, the first position will be going home with 200,000.
Okay.
Then the second position will be going home with 150,000. The third position will be going home with 100,000. Same tomorrow.
So 200, 150, 100.
Yeah, yes. Then other individual awards.
Like most valuable player, best
yes.
goalkeeper, and all that.
Yes,
they are being factored in. Now, it is quite massive for you to do this. I know the league, 9 teams were involved, grouped into 3 groups. And you started with a round robin. It wasn't a league format. You started with a round robin, and now you've got into this stage. The next edition, would you consider playing it in a league format, or would you still play in the round robin format?
I think when the time comes to decide on that,
okay,
because each program carries the mission and the vision. What do you want to achieve? So when next year comes, we'll be able to sit down and plan and know the right one to take.
Okay, in a minute, because we're almost out of time, I want to put up 2 questions together. Challenges faced organizing this, and the message to the fans ahead of the finals tomorrow.
The only challenge we face issue of finance. You understand? People didn't come out as expected to finance this project. But thanks be to God that it has been kind of achieved aim, achieved dreams. Do you understand? And I also want to use this opportunity to thank some of people who sponsored us in one way or the other. I will not forget to thank Uncle Ralph, the Great Academy. They are in the forefront to make sure that this tournament is what it is today.
Okay.
You understand? I also want to thank Ridge Valley Academy, Oka, and also St. Gabriel Academy, Isuanyocha. Then I want to also thank the president of Aspire Foundation worldwide. These are the people that come around, contributed to make sure that this vision will be achieved. So I want God to bless them. Then the fans that are around there listening to me, this mission has been achieved.
Okay.
Then I want you people to come out en masse and witness the glory God has already bestowed on football in Awka North and also in Anambra State at large.
Just before we let you go, would there be a second edition?
Of course, this is a continuous process.
That's what I want to
Yes. So by next year, we're going to plan it bigger.
Comrade Raphael Okafor, Chairman Awka North Local Football Council, thank you for being on the show.
God bless you.
And continue doing what you're doing.
Thank you very much.
And before we bounce on the show, let's tell you that Arsenal defender Pablo Mari has returned to training with his loan club Monza 2 months after surviving a knife attack in an Italian supermarket. We hear Mari had surgery to reconstruct 2 injured muscles in his back following the attack, and the surgeon who operated on his back has said that he survived the attack partly due to his top physical shape as an elite athlete. We are happy to see Pablo Mari back to playing football once again. This is some cheering news. Before we go, the World Cup ends this weekend. Third and fourth place match, Croatia, Morocco. It is coming up tomorrow. It is 4 p.m. Then watch out for the finals. France, Argentina. Who's your money on? That finals is coming up on Sunday. It's also 4 p.m. France, Argentina, another cracker. Let's see what goes down in that one. That's the size of the show this morning. Sports Today on ABS TV. Thanks a lot for being part of it. My name is Ike Nwokedi from the entire team here. Keep sporting and have a lovely weekend. Bye-bye now.
Skin bleaching, otherwise known as voluntary skin depigmentation, is a matter of public health concern according to doctors in Congo-Brazzaville. Despite the well-known devastation